Hey guys, Ethereum here, back with another Transformers video, and as you guys can see, this one is completely different from the rest of the content I usually make. And that's because I have something really special to show you guys. Some obscure pieces of Bayverse lore that I've always wanted to make a video on, and I finally got around to doing it. Now, I do want to say I've never made like a video like this of my hands being in shot, and I usually have scripts, so if I ramble, if I make some silly mistakes, please bear with me because it's like the first time I've been doing this. Now, if you read the title of this video, you would know that this video is all about the ILM VFX crew pins. Now, you might be wondering what those are. Well, let me go put them on this beautiful mat right here. So, the first pin we have is for the 2007 Transformers movie. We have one for Revenge of the Fallen, which came out in 2009. We have one for Dark of the Moon, which came out in 2011. Now, you might think the next one's going to be for Age of Extinction, which came out in 2014, but you will be wrong because that one is this Devastator pin, which is actually from Transformers The Ride 3D at Universal Studios. From here, we have Age of Extinction, then we have The Last Night, which came out in 2017, and we can end it off with 2018's Bumblebee movie. Now, as you guys know, there's another movie that's not here, Rise of the Beast, and of course, Transformers 1. Now, Rise of the Beast doesn't have a pin because that movie was not actually animated by ILM, and instead it was done by MPC. So that's why that movie doesn't have a pin. As for Transformers 1, that movie actually does have a pin. I'll put it up on screen right now. It's actually really cool. It's the Matrix of Leadership, and the middle actually spins around. Now, I actually don't have that one because it's really expensive. There's like a listing on eBay, I think, for like 600 bucks, and I'm mainly a movie guy, so I love the Bayverse. I grew up with it. It was my G1, so anything movie I want to collect, right? And I thought Transformers 1 was a fantastic movie, but I don't know if I'll actually go out of my way to collect the pin for my collection, because I wanted a live-action movie ILM pin collection, which I have here. Now, you might be wondering, what's the story behind these pins, and why did ILM make these? Well, this wasn't just for Transformers. Based on all the research I could find, ILM had this tradition where they would give the animators and people who worked on the films pins, as a token of their appreciation and gratitude. So something cool that they can have. And these are not something you can actually buy. You have to get these like secondhand from either the people who worked on the films who are selling them, or people who have collected them are now offloading their collection. And it seems like, for what I can find online, this tradition started in the early 1990s, and there's so many films that have pins. They have stuff from Marvel, Pirates of the Caribbean, and so much cool stuff. I think, there's just a lot of films that you wouldn't even think would have a cool pin attached actually do. So if you ever just go online, look up ILM pins, you'll find so many. And these are for the Transformers movies. And I'll tell you how much I paid for each of them and something cool. So as you guys can see, these first four have like this box, and these guys do not. And I think that's because they switched over from boxes to these little bags. I don't think this bag was a stock bag it came in. I think it would have came in one of these, but I got this one secondhand. So it probably would have came in a baggie like this, because that's what I've seen online. So they kind of changed from these nice little cases to just these plastic bags. Maybe it was a cost-cutting measure. I don't really know. But to take a look at these, let's start out with the 2007 pin. And this is the one I've paid the most for. I think I paid around $270 something, 72 for this guy. And I know I mainly did that because this is the last one I was missing. I saw a listing, like, you know what, I'll bite the bullet on it, right? And if we open it up here, it's a really shiny. So we actually have the Bayverse Autobot and Decepticon logo, and you would know that based on the eyes. You see how like the Bayverse Decepticon logo has like these diamond-shaped eyes, while like this G1 one has like these more triangular ones. And we can actually see the ILM logo right here on top, and right here you can see the year 2007, which is really cool. And this one is like, I think, one of my favorites out, just because it's like the Allspark. I can assume it's supposed to like represent the Allspark, and it's just really cool, like Autobot, Decepticon, year, and the logo. Now, something really cool with these pins is if we take it out of its little thing here, you can actually see the manufacturer of this pin. That should say PB China on here, and all of these pins are actually, I guess, were manufactured by this manufacturer. I don't think the Transformers 1 one was, based on the images I saw, so that's pretty cool. So Here's just a little more up close and personal. Just such a cool freaking little pin, and I'd highly recommend tracking this one. This one usually goes for 150 and up. The 270 that I paid for was a bit much, but like I said, it was the last one I needed for my collection, so you know, I bit the bullet on it, and I'm very happy that I did, because I can finally get these all in like a little display case, which is something I've wanted to do once I have all of them. So let's go put the Transformers 2007 pin aside. Let's go take a look at Revenge of the Fallen here. So here we go. Let's open this bad boy up. Bada bing, bada boom. And there we go. We got the Fallen. And this guy is pretty interesting because I don't think he's the only one I don't think has a year on it. I could be wrong, because like you have the ILM logo, we have the Fallen. And if we take this guy out here, take off the back, gotta be careful, these are like really pointy, so if you actually do get these, you gotta be careful that you don't poke yourself. So there he is, got him in focus on camera. Look how beautiful that is. It's like he has like those things coming out of his head, which are blue, which I absolutely love, which is accurate to the movie. Such a really cool sculpt. And on the back, we have PD China once again. That's the company that made all the pins, I believe, at least up till 18, I believe, because that's where at least I can confirm that. So yeah, very, very cool Fallen pin right here. So let's go take a look at Dark of the Moon. And here it is. This one's pretty cool. Ooh, I actually did forget to say how much I paid for the Revenge of the Fallen pin before we get to this guy. Let's go pull out the Fallen once again. So, you might be wondering how much the Fallen usually goes for, and well, I will pull up the eBay listing on the side here. So as for how much I paid for the Fallen, I paid around 40 bucks for this guy. So that's how much the Fallen went for me, and for Shockwave down here, I also paid around $40 as well for this guy. So let's go open him up, and this guy is really, really cool. This box is a little tight. There we go. Take him out of the box here. And there he is, Shockwave in all its glory. And as you can see, it says TF3, Shockwave, and then the ILM VFX, which is really, really cool. I think this one actually, just like the Fallen, doesn't have a year. I thought it did, actually. I'm looking it up close right now. Yeah, I don't see a year on this one either. So, that's crazy. I thought this one actually said 2011 somewhere on it, but I guess not. So let's go take a look at the back, so you guys can see the PD China logo. Let that focus in for a sec. There it is. And if we flip them back towards us, yeah, just a really cool Shockwave pin. Love the colors. I like the purple. Like it, I think that might actually be representing Cybertron, because Cybertron was like that weird hexagonal shape in the film. So I think that's actually really cool. I just noticed that too. He does have a couple scratches here, but you know, that's because he's an old guy. He's been around since 2011, and I think he's swapped a couple hands. So finally glad to get my hands on the Shockwave pin. So let's now go take a look at Transformers The Ride, which I honestly think is my favorite out of the set. And I paid $40 for this guy. So let's go pop him open and see it up close. So let's go take the back plate off. And we'll start with the back. I know it's a little counterintuitive. So as you guys can see, PD China once again. And we flip them around. There it is. ILM VFX 2011. So yeah, this is the one I knew once at 2011. So yeah, there's you know, Transformers The Ride Devastator, because you go into his mouth and you come out the back in evac. It's really cool. I like this pin so much, because I always thought, because you know, Devastator, it was at the time in 2009 the most complex thing ILM had ever done. So I always thought, oh, for their pin they would have done Devastator, but instead they did the Fallen. So I'm glad they actually did make a Devastator pin, which is really cool. I love the green. It's so sad he didn't have the green in the movie, and he has a silver face opposed to the red. So yeah, really cool guy. Definitely my favorite out of the bunch. So let's go take a look at Age of Extinction. Put this guy aside, and here we go. So Age of Extinction for me came in this little baggie. Yeah, so not a little cool case like the others. And here we go. If we bring it up to the camera here, let it zoom in. There we go. It's literally the early Age of Extinction logo, and you can see the ILM logo, and 2014 as the year. Really cool. Some white dust on here. I love this thing. This looks really cool. The black, and here we go. Here's the back of it. PD China, and it looks like there's like a stain. I wonder how that happened. But yeah, usually since you'll never see the back of this, I don't care. That's a cool little pin. Something that I forgot to mention about the Age of Extinction pin is that I paid around $50 for it. So let's go put it over to the side and take a look at the last night. So here we go. It is squeaks in a little baggie. So let's open them up here. Let's see. How is he packaged? There's some tape somewhere, so bear with me here. All right, so here we go. Here's Squeaks. He was all like folded up when I folded up the baggie for storage and had tape on some weird area, so he took a while to get out. I don't want like that whole sequence to be in the video because it'd be quite boring, me struggling to open a plastic baggie. But here we go. There is Squeaks from The Last Night on a pin, and it says Transformers The Last Night. It says ILM VFX 2017. And on the back, once again, we have good old, if it focuses here, it should say PD China. Come on now. Let's see it. Hey, there it is. PD China, right on the back. So, yeah, it's kind of a little out of focus. But yeah, there's the last Bayverse pin is of Squeaks, which is pretty cool. Something I forgot to mention about the Squeaks pin is that I paid around $30 for him. So now let's get on to the last ILM pin that I have. And of course, it's from the Bumblebee movie. And hopefully, yeah, this baggie's a lot easier to get this pin out of. And there we go. We got Bumblebee's face right up in center. I love the yellow on this. There's the Bumblebee movie logo, ILM VFX 2018. Pretty sick. So yeah, there we go. That was the front. Here's the back. PD China once again. If I can get that a little better in focus. One thing I did forget to mention is that I paid around $40 for this Bumblebee pin. So yeah, there is the 2018 Bumblebee movie pin. So let's go reflect on all of these pins. So here's all the pins in all of their unopened glory, and the set just looks incredible because they just look so cool together. And I plan to get these all framed on a custom frame like I did for my Dark of the Moon clapper board, and I can't wait, because that's another reason why I made this video, so I could finally get these guys framed. And I would highly recommend these pins to anyone who's just a Transformers fan or a fan of VFX, because I've studied how Transformers has helped progress VFX and CGI, and just having these here, it's incredible. And they're such good build quality too. I don't know exactly what they're made of. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're some sort of metal, I believe, and they're really sturdy. So if you just want to put them on a shirt, frame them, or have them on like a little custom display on your shelf, I mean, they're not going to go anywhere. They all have a pretty good weight to them, and I definitely would recommend them to you. Some stuff that you probably do want to know is that the 07 pin and Revenge of the Fallen one, at least for me, were the hardest ones to track down. I think I got all these over the course of a month, and I got pretty lucky because there was a lot of listings on eBay, and really the most common ones I see is for Shockwave, or I should say, Dark of the Moon, Last Night, Bumblebee, Age of Extinction, and Transformers The Ride. So I'm not too sure if that's still the case, but I do know there's a handful of these that are on eBay right now for around the prices I paid for them. So if these interest you, it's definitely something to get, because you cannot normally get these, because as I said earlier, you'd have to be someone who worked on the films to acquire one. And I'm really curious to know if anyone outside of the people who worked on the films have a complete set, because not everyone who worked on the films actually worked on all of them. So they would have to be working with ILM on Transformers since 2007, all the way over a decade later, 2018. And I would be hard-pressed to say too many people have made that feat. But I'm pretty sure there's a handful out there, and I'm glad to actually have the full Transformers live-action ILM pin collection, because the only one I'm really missing is from Transformers 1, but due to how expensive it is right now, I'm not going to jump on it. But if you're like a diehard Transformers 1 fan, which I know a lot of you guys are because it's such a fantastic movie, and you got the mojo to pay it up, you know, definitely get it, because I think it's by far out of the pins, because these are all static. They're really, really cool, but that one actually moves, and that puts it a leg up over all of these guys. So I know someone is going to get it, and they're going to be pretty happy. But yeah, just so blessed to have all these because, you know, watching these films as a kid, you know, I was always fascinated by the robots. I mean, how do they make that look so real? And, you know, I have a token of some official capacity of the people who actually worked on these films. All of the 7 that I have here, someone owned at one point, someone who actually worked on that respective film. And it's really cool to actually have a piece, like a token of someone who actually worked on these incredible films that shaped my childhood, which also made this channel to express my love for the Bayverse and also the childhoods of all of you guys watching. So yeah, if you guys have any questions that I didn't address in this video about the pins, please comment down below, because I can tell you, because I own them all. I've had them for a hot minute now, and I'll probably put out a community post once I finally get these guys framed. So yeah, thanks for bearing with me on this video. I know I didn't have a script. It was a little awkward, you know, first time I've done this. So if you give me some feedback on how I did with an unscripted camera video, and give me some tips on how I can improve, because I definitely have a handful of other Bayverse artifacts that I would love to share. One of them is the VHS version of Transformers 2007 that was exclusive to Korea. I think you guys would love to see that. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and take care.